but I'll do that tomorrow.
Right. I've just switched on recording as well so that we can.
Oh,
That's what we talked about. Yeah.
well, that's right. Yeah. So I'll type up the notes for yesterday.
You're welcome to record as well if you want to from your end. I don't know if you can, but
Oh no, I'm all right as long as
okay.
you've got the notes.
I can share it.
I'm just gonna take written notes myself, but it's just so you've got it. So the second reason why people buy is to make money. Now, my thought about this, Tony, was the efficient customer service of your actual card machine. Because the thing is, with Anna's one, it's only this tiny white box, and it doesn't look very safe. Like I wouldn't actually put my card on it because you know how your card details can get like it doesn't look like a proper card machine. Like and so that's why whenever I go into her cafe, yeah, exactly, it doesn't look very safe. Like and also for her, like I think I don't know, maybe it might go down. It doesn't look very reliable from a business end either. And so that was down to the make money sort of side of things. That was one idea I had, and the second one was because of the app,
Yeah.
restaurants can see the payments going through, so
Yes.
they know if someone's leaving left without paying.
Yes.
And also when I went to a restaurant once in Spain, like I gave them my card, and then something happened. I don't know the language details, but they said it hadn't gone. The payment hadn't gone through, even though they took it like the payment had gone through. But so it wasn't the card. It wasn't the card. It was just that it hadn't gone through there. They hadn't put it through properly, and they weren't sure. So they asked me to go back. If I hadn't paid it, I checked I hadn't paid. So I went back and paid them. So it's kind of the reliability of your machine versus other competitors. That's what I was thinking.
Yes. No. Very good. You're right. And actually, another thing that happens, by the way, you've maybe come across this, is sometimes they take the card away to the card machine. And
Yeah.
that's deadly. Unless you can really trust them with your life, because they could take a scan of your card, and then actually bring the card machine back and with the receipt, and you tap in your PIN, but they've got your card details. They've got a clone of your card. And there was actually a gang in New York who just took millions of pounds, millions of dollars from people until it was discovered what was happening. And what happens with essentially by doing it by, for example, having Dojo, you don't need to take the card away. That everything comes to the table, so you can actually make the payment at the table. Um, it's all live and secure. So actually, the card never leaves your hand as a customer.
Uh, your So I've got to ask the question. So why is that important? Like I have to keep. That's what he said. I have to keep asking that question.
So
So it never. So that yes, then you don't have the fraud.
that's
Yeah.
it.
So if the card doesn't leave the table, you don't have the risk. So you don't have the risk of fraud.
Your card
Uh,
being cloned.
yeah, card being cut. And then with your client, with the Janet and Dave,
Yeah,
they don't have to worry about their staff, do they?
that's right. That's right.
Like yeah. So Janet and Dave don't have.
Who wants to accuse your staff? Who wants to accuse your staff? I mean, just take the temptation away. Um, that,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
If
from Janet and Dave's point of view, um, if someone accuses them of cloning their card, that's reputational damage. That's reputational damage.
yeah.
And if your restaurant is accused of cloning a card, say somebody goes on social media, they can say, "I was at Janet
Yeah.
and Dave's place the other night. They took my card away. It's been cloned. Don't touch the place with a barge pole." Bang,
Mm.
your reputation is shot. and that could actually ruin your.
Exactly. Yeah. Like ruin your business. Yeah, it's true.
So all your hard work is gone. All your life savings have gone.
Yeah.
How would you feel?
Well, pushed, because that all their expenses are still going through the business, but obviously the customers, they wouldn't have as many customers or non-customers. So that's their only way of their livelihood will be down the pan with no fault of their own.
So I'm just thinking, as Janet and Dave, as the customer, um, they, yeah, reputation is everything because people don't come back. If your reputation is no good, they won't bother coming back. So all the work you've put into getting that new customer to come in, it's gone.
Mm,
Um, yeah, you know
exactly.
yourself. If you go to a restaurant, local to you in Spain, um,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work out well, and maybe you give it a bad review, you won't bother going back there. Um, if you feel you've had anything other than a great experience, why would you bother going back? There are lots of places you can go to. You want a great experience.
Exactly.
You want a great experience. You want to feel safe. You want your customers to feel safe. That's emotional. Um, and also,
Yeah, dude.
you want your customers to trust you because that's emotional too. Um, we want to build customer trust in us as Janet and Dave.
It's all part of the experience of the meal, isn't it? Like that Janet and Dave, they put a lot of thought by the menu and the ingredients and the ambience of the restaurant.
Mhm.
So the card system is all part of that experience. I think that's very good, isn't it? Really, that that
So I
that's
suppose from an emotional point of view as well, essentially you could be out of business. That's the emotional trigger. All the work you put into building that business is all gone because now no regular customers come back. Nobody on your Facebook group comes back, or if they do, they're suspicious of you, and that's horrible.
It is, yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah,
It's really, really, and Dave and Janet, they're very straight people. They're nice, welcoming people.
that's
They
right.
go out of the way.
That's right.
Very hard working.
And they've
Down,
worked they've worked very hard, of course, to get
yeah,
these customer
yeah.
to have their loyal customers, and they can just go like that.
There
If they
what one bad review, or that's it.
or
It,
especially if it's a genuine bad review, because if they actually have committed fraud unwittingly, or one of their employees has, that's going to go
yeah.
around like wildfire.
It would be awful. You
Yeah.
can't trust your staff necessarily these days. Like you you know, especially in a restaurant where they're making the turnover's £500,000 a
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
and then the staff are on like maybe minimum wage with
Yes.
tips.
Yes.
Like um, that's yeah. I mean, that's
Have we
that's
dug down a few levels there? I mean, that's pretty emotional, isn't it? Well, so when the business collapses, your marriage fails.
yeah, yeah.
Now
This
Janet and Dave, Janet blames Dave for what happened.
Yeah,
Um,
they lose the house. They'd lose the house.
yes,
Lose the house, the home.
yes,
Lose the business.
yes.
Um, um, like lose each other. Lose. It doesn't take a lot for a marriage to end these days.
Do you know what, Sarah? It doesn't.
It
It's
really doesn't. No, it's very sad actually.
very
To be
sad.
honest, it really
Have you
is.
seen that happen in your life, Sarah?
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, no, I've realised how like how things can change overnight when you really weren't expecting it. When you think everything's going really well, like
Mm.
Eamon and Ruth, on the
Yeah,
television.
yeah.
They were working together for years. They looked like you couldn't get a couple that looked more made for each other almost.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I agree.
goes to show. And then, I
That's,
mean, they're not spring chickens. Like you would have thought they'd be past all that and just content
and
with
I want to work at it, but
yeah, but never mind.
yeah, but you're right.
So the
And
So the third reason
yeah, go on. Sorry.
why people buy is to save time.
Yes.
Okay, so now with this I thought this was kind of the transactions going through the app, like this, because if you think about Anna and go, let me just put save time. So the feature of this, so you've got a feature of the product is the app,
Yeah.
and then the benefit is of the app is that the transactions show up like immediately, isn't it? Like as it's happening, isn't it? Time. So all their in their restaurant, all their transactions show up in real time on this app, and they can
Yes.
and so they can Janet can be like sort of front of house, but she's on the app and she can see everything going through. Maybe in between nipping round and checking the customers are all right. So why is this important? So we ask, um, well, it's simple of paid, and they're not leaving without paying because there was that case in a newspaper where a
Yeah.
family paid for their meal, and it was all over like the day they paid for the meal. You're thinking about it.
Right. I've just sent Sarah. I've just sent over a. Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it was just sent over an example.
I sent over a case study of a restaurant, and actually there are a few things in here that will help us with our conversation, I think. Um,
Oh, do you want to go and check it out now?
I've just sent it across on WhatsApp. It's a PDF.
Oh,
So
oh,
it's quite a long document, but it's a PDF. So it should be. Can you open that on your computer, or do you have it on your
oh, I've got it on my phone now. It's still down there. Let me have a look as
where is
it
this?
comes up.
Yeah, it's about
Um,
800K. It'll take a few moments just to download,
oh right, okay.
but it's quite interesting. Um, it's a what it
Oh,
shows is how we can save money because we're talking about saving money, actually saving time as well.
oh right.
But this speaks about, for example, this particular restaurant, this a restaurant 805. Um, he has experienced much improved um, transaction speeds. In other words, the actual machine and using it is much quicker. So he finds that really improves the customer journey and saves time for his staff. They don't spend as much time at the table picking up, actually getting the payments. Um, we can do all sorts of really quite wonderful things, but this particular case study might be useful, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll read that. I think I need to read this.
You haven't
Um,
leave it till later on then, and you have a look through that, and that'll give you some
a
idea.
real game changer.
Yeah.
So boosting turnover by 15%.
Yes.
But because of this, yeah, because it's more efficient.
Yes. Yes.
And gonna well, and that's and saved 60,000 in that's amazing. 60,000. Is
That's
that
not
just the one restaurant?
that's not normal. That's not normal. But essentially it's got two restaurants, okay, one in Reading and one in London, um, and we're saving them £60,000 a year compared to what he was paying before. Now that's not usual, Sarah. That's not usual. Um, I wouldn't suggest that we can do that every time, but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's a live case study about a restaurant that actually now uses us, and here are the reasons why.
Wow. Well, that's a testimonial, but it's a game changer. But you don't need to use those exact figures, but you
Mm,
can talk in terms of, you can say that it's more efficient because 5 to 7 minutes,
mm,
obviously, they're not having to take the card away to the machine and then bring it back. They
mm,
can just bring the machine to the table. So
mm.
that does save 5 to 7 minutes every time. That adds up, you
Exactly.
know, because that means that the waiters have have more time to get people drinks.
That's
You
right.
know, uh, we
But
can
also
make more
more time to
sales.
actually serve the customers, which is what they're there to do, um,
Yeah,
and give the customer a nicer experience. And that's another reason that
yeah. That's very important. That's a big thing, because there's nothing worse when you go to a restaurant and you can't get an extra drink, or you can't get something to accompany your meal. It almost spoils the whole experience, really.
Well,
Um,
imagine we're out for a meal, Sarah, and
mm,
we're ready to pay, or we're ready to order perhaps, and all we can see is the waiter going back and forward to the bar or to the EPOS system, to the till, and coming back and forward with the machine, and we're thinking, come on, we want to order. Um, so what we're doing here is, by introducing Dojo, a much more efficient way of taking payments, we're
mm,
clearing that waiter or waitress to actually come and look after the new customers, and make them feel much more welcome, and make them feel as if they're important. And that's important. That's crucial, because, as we said before, they can go anywhere. They can go anywhere and get a meal. The same, you and I can, Sarah. We want
yeah, there's a lot of
the
competition.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
Um, Yeah, so they've got that. So that's to make them get more sales. Trying to show up in real time so they can get more sales, can make more. Well, that's crucial though, isn't it? But why is that important?
Okay.
So if they make more sales, they make more money. So more sales
Yeah.
is more money. And why is that important? Hang
Yeah.
on. Well, it's important because they've had the whole lockdown. They've maybe struggling
Mm.
financially, maybe to keep afloat, because everything's so expensive. Food, all the bills and everything. That at the profit margin, like it
Yes.
um, increases profit margin, because their basic expenses remain the same, the
Mm.
staff, the premises, and
Mm.
they have to buy the food in anyway.
Yes.
Stuff back before. Oh, you're doing that. So that they've got like almost fixed costs, really.
Yes.
And then so they've got fixed costs.
Mm.
So the more transactions they make,
Yeah.
it's like, say if their fixed cost 250, but they can make more, they make more sales, that they actually, their profits increase. um
If their costs are fairly static and they can increase
yeah,
the turnover, then that extra money becomes net profit.
exactly, yeah, increased, no, and then that's net profit.
Yeah.
So now, why is that important to go down?
Because prices aren't going down.
Yeah, because, well, because they can't put the prices up. You see,
Well,
like in the business, they're quite limited on how much they can charge for things, because they can't increase prices. So the only way they can become more profitable is either bringing more customers in or making more sales.
um, or sell their existing customers more things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Upsell them if you like.
Yeah, upsell things,
Yeah.
or more customers
Yeah.
through the door. Okay. So, and then why is that important?
Mm.
Well, if they make more money, it
Yes.
means that they can invest that money into the business. You know, uh,
That's right. Yes. It means that they can pay their staff better and actually pay themselves better. Because many people in business don't pay themselves very much.
mm,
They have to cover all these overheads and look after their staff first, and it's a real slog for them.
yeah,
That's
it's
emotional.
not easy being self-employed.
No,
It's not easy when you're the boss.
that's
It's
right.
actually easier when you're staff and you can just turn up and you know how much you're going to earn. Okay,
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
okay, so hang on. Let's go down deep, one level
Okay.
deeper than that.
Okay.
Okay, so why is that important? Well, it's because they yeah, so they can pay themselves properly.
Yes.
Being being self-employed,
Yes.
they pay themselves last almost. So that because
Everyone,
they
everyone thinks they pay themselves well. This is the truth of it. Everybody thinks that the owner pays themselves well, but rarely is that the case. It's,
mm,
in most restaurants, the owner gets the last bite of the cherry, and because he's looking after everything else, she or he or Janet and Dave, they're looking after everybody else. They actually end up taking very little out of the business. And wouldn't you like to see a change in that? Wouldn't you like to improve your
mm,
lot and actually get some return on all the investment of time and effort you put in?
all the hard work.
Yeah, yeah, that's emotional.
Well, yeah, because their dream of having a restaurant
Mm,
what was different to
mm,
reality.
mm,
When they set up that it was that that they'd be making a lot of money and
mm,
it'd be easy, but the reality has been a bit different from that.
mm,
Like so they've been paying themselves last,
yes,
doing all the hard work.
yes,
But now with this dojo car system, it, they can see the results.
mm,
They can pay themselves better, and they can see a big difference in their business, in their turnover. So who wouldn't want to get a dojo card machine?
exactly.
Like with this, it's fantastic.
Mm, yeah. And when you put all the facets together, it really starts to gel. And that's where really where a funnel comes in, because actually we can talk about all these things in a funnel. Um,
Well,
and
yeah, that's the point. Yeah, that's what you're doing it for. Is it? Because don't forget, you're not going to be there to talk to them and explain. You see, so this is that we're doing this, and then we put this in the avatar, and then in the script, the headline. That's when it comes because that those scripts come up with amazing headlines that kind of grab the attention, and the customer almost feels like you're looking over the shoulder, and you're in their head. You understand them. See, that's the point. Yeah,
exactly, I agree. We want the customer to feel that we know their business so well. They trust us, and that's the way it should be. It
yeah.
should be our
You're
way.
you're fully focused on them and their experience
Mhm.
of the dojo card machine. So you're not focused on just you know is a dojo card machine. You're focused on their experience and that you're selling them the best. Now, save time. You see, you've got another save time here because I told you about my friend Anna. She's got that really cheap card machine, and her husband, it's like a full-time job for him. He literally has to go, he has to be like, he's got a spreadsheet, he has to type in every single transaction
Yes,
on there. Now, this is the gold here, right here, because by having a dojo card machine, this is what your customer no longer has to do. Now, when you're doing the demo video and I give you the script,
mm,
this is the gold right here. So I'll put this gold, very important. This is what they no longer have to do when they have a dojo card machine. They
yes,
know they no longer have to log every transaction
mm,
on a spreadsheet
mm,
and then tick it off against the receipt. They no longer get paid a week after the transactions,
mm,
go through the system.
mm.
Now, like for Anna's husband, this is very stressful for him, and it's like a second job. Like you can imagine, because he's working as a delivery driver he was for Amazon at the time. Now it'll be a different company, and then he's responsible for this. So even though Anna's in the cafe and she's making the meals,
Mm.
he's trying to keep track of all and because he gets paid the following week, it's very difficult to tick the meals off and make sure you've had all the money. You
Exactly.
know, whereas Janet, you see, Janet doesn't have to do this, Janet and Dave,
Mm,
because they've got the dojo card machine. And while Janet's front of house,
Mm,
she's keeping her eye on the customers. She's making sure that every customer is being served
mm,
on time. And
mm.
you know, Janet's very much she's got a bob, she's got a fringe, she's got glasses. She's very eagle-eyed, and oh, and she's on it. You know, she's on everything. And so as soon as that customer's paid, they've got the receipt. She checks it's gone through Dojo, and that's it. They're not worried, and the money is in the bank the next day.
Yes.
Better than cash.
Sometimes we can just a little bit more information here. Sometimes if you use a SumUp or a Zettle or other card machines, sometimes if there's a problem, you don't know.
Mm,
And the customer's actually paid and they've walked out the door and you don't
yeah.
know until after maybe a few minutes afterwards, you don't know there's a problem. And then trying to find them in a busy street, you wouldn't do that. Um,
Well, yeah.
what Dojo does is if there's a problem, what happens within a few seconds, the screen goes red. The
Oh,
screen of the machine goes red, and you know there's a problem right away. And of course, you can't print a receipt off, which you can't. She never gives receipts, so that's a good safety thing for a Dojo customer. Give the customers a receipt because then when they get a receipt, it's gone through properly. So there are never any dodgy transactions. And it may well be with Anna that she takes her money in advance because I think in a cafe you'd actually take the money when they place the order, wouldn't you? Normally.
well, yeah. She, you see, she has to pay out for all the food in advance,
No,
and then when,
I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. When say for example, I walk into the cafe and I have
yeah,
a cup of tea and a sausage sandwich, okay, I
yeah.
would pay for that when I'm ordering it, wouldn't I?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
wouldn't
yeah. So
wouldn't
she.
have people walking out without paying because that's not possible.
Well, the thing is, if there's a problem with the card machine, though, because a lot of customers do pay with card, you
Mm,
know, so even though it looks like it's gone through, because
mm,
that happened with me with a meal, it looked like it had gone through, but then the restaurant wasn't sure.
mm,
So the restaurant were lucky that I checked on my bank and then went back
mm,
and paid them, um,
mm.
but some people aren't honest like that, um,
Sorry.
if the internet goes down or something like that. What, Charlie? What's
I
it?
think I've finished my game yet.
Yeah, I'll play with you in a second. All right, I'll play with it in a little minute, Tad. I'll have to should we do this again then? All
So,
right. So I think that's really good. Are you happy with that progress
yeah,
then,
it's great.
Faye?
That's really good. So I'll send you the recording, look, so you can see what we've talked about today. I'm sure you've made some.
Oh,
Um, so let's speak again in a few days' time, shall we, Sarah?
yeah, yeah. If you message me when you're free and available, and then that'll be fantastic. And now, in the meantime, I'll
Yeah.
type up these notes,
Okay.
and I'll email them across so we both got them,
Okay.
like to get down, like. And I think, I think we're really getting down to the emotion here. I think we're doing quite well. This exercise is just so that when you're talking about pain points and things like that with these scripts, you realize, through your notes, it comes to you a bit easy, and then if you just go straight in. But
Okay.
thanks very much, Tony, for your time. And then, if you message me, I'm happy to jump on another call with you anytime.
Thanks, Sarah. Have a lovely evening.
Have a lovely day. Thanks again. Thanks for being so patient, Tony. That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you so
patient.
much.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
again. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.